Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here in Miami. I'm delighted to be joined by boxing manager Peter Kahn. Peter, big news happened yesterday, but before we talk about that, let's talk about why you're here in Miami. One of your young fighters in Arum is fighting on a great card. He's 1-0, he's in the super lightweight division. How good is this kid?
Aaron was an excellent amateur. He's a tall 140-pounder. This is his second fight. His first fight was, I believe, in October or November, something like that. First round knockout. But he's a 5-time U.S. national champion, 6 feet tall, 140 pounds, great physical attributes. Been boxing since he was 9 years old. He's 19 years old. He's just, been a successful amateur. And it's exciting. It doesn't get any more exciting to fight on a Canelo card. We're in the Canelo bubble with Arum, which has been fantastic in Miami. So it's great. Yep. We get to drive to the bubble. He's fighting a guy that's 6-1. So he's in his second fight. He's fighting someone with more professional experience who knows how to win. They'll be fighting in front of 15,000 people at Hard Rock Stadium. So it should be exciting.
6-1, it's a tough test, because normally when you see prospects coming through that are 1-0, they're facing, as we call them in the UK, journeymen, maybe with a 2-16 record or a 4-22 record. But I'm guessing that's testament to how good this kid can be, how good Aaron can be.
It's a testament to his skill, his power, his talent. But at the same time, I think that model of fighting and matchmaking is somewhat passé. And I do believe that with COVID and all the obstacles that we faced over the past year and the limited amount of shows, number one, you have to take advantage of the opportunities as they're being presented to you. Number two, fighters need to develop, and I thoroughly understand that. You don't want guys to be in wars from the beginning. They have to develop from their 4-rounders to their 6-rounders to 8 to 10s. But there's nothing wrong with being in a 70, 30, 60, 40 matchup where someone has to display their skills and isn't just walking in to fight a quote-unquote opponent or a journeyman. So, I'm very confident in his ability. I have another young fighter, Xander Zayas, that also fought last week, and he stepped up in opposition and looked fantastic in his first 6-round fight. So, I just think that fighters right now have to take advantage. When you're being presented, when Eddie Hearn presents you with an opportunity to fight on a Canelo card, forget about COVID, forget about the lack of consistent shows. When you have an opportunity to be able to fight here and fight on DAZN in front of a big audience in your hometown, you have to take advantage of it.
Definitely. Is that how you're going to manage your fighters? You mentioned that fight you had, you fought out last week, and Aaron's obviously in a tough test. Is that how you're going to manage your fighters? If you believe in them, you're going to match them hard from the get-go?
I'm going to match them appropriately. So not necessarily hard, but certainly not easy. Yeah. It's not doing them any good. That model was successful, but I do believe, someone like Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, they're perfect examples. You don't have to have 25 fights to then fight and win a world title. You could be brought along properly, but once you show that you can get past certain obstacles, certain levels, you keep moving forward. And I think that, you want to take advantage of your youth. Take advantage of the lack of wear and tear. And I think it's, like I said, it's matching people smart, but not necessarily overmatching them, but also really looking to not undermatch them. I think their skills deserve better competition.
Yeah, I agree. Cause sometimes they get the walk in the park, it goes in 30 seconds, fight's over. That doesn't do good for the fighter that you're trying to bring through, and it's a disservice to the fans, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was just going to say that. I agree. I think it is a disservice to the fans. I think the fans that take their time to either pay to watch or take their time to just sit and give the attention to these fighters, they deserve to see good competition. So I'm not saying that every fight has to be a war, but I do feel that it should be a test. Everything should be a test. It's only going to get more complicated as they move forward.
Exactly. And we've seen some fighters that get to 14, 15, they step up and then they get knocked out in the second round. But back to Aaron Aponte, you mentioned he's a 140-pounder, he's 6 foot. You obviously believe in this kid. I mean, the division he's in right now is in fact, you can say the lightweight, super lightweight, and the welterweight divisions right now are the three. There or thereabouts. are like stacked with talent. It doesn't matter if he goes up or he goes down. He ain't going to find an easy fight when he gets to that elite level. I mean, but he's in 140-pound division. He's in the division where Regis Prograis, the Josh Taylors, the Ramirez is. I mean, you're talking about matching him not hard, but in a way that he's going to get there quickly and maybe in his 10th or 12th fight. How do you see him facing these elite guys? Do you believe in him that he can become a world champion in maybe 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fights?
Well, look, I'll give you a great example. So we're going to see how he performs on Saturday. I make no bones about it. I tell him very clearly, Aaron, I've given you the platform. Mm-hmm. You now have to go perform. You have to show, it's not just about the nice press conferences and the photos and the social media. You now have to go perform. You have to make a statement. You're in a 4-rounder. It's your second fight. You need to show your boxing skills, and if you can show your power, you show it. You have to show what you have. But to your other point, after this fight, I'm sending him out to California, to Riverside, so he can get work with Jose Ramirez and Virgil Ortiz. He'll be with Robert Garcia, him, Aaron, his father, who's his trainer. I'm sending them out there to get some time because that experience is invaluable, but also it's going to let us know where he's at.
And Ramirez is unified world champion in that division as well. So again, a good test for him, and you're doing the right thing.
It's a learning experience. I thoroughly expect him to go out there and understand what it means to compete at that elite level. The little things that they do as pros with experience that have made them world champions. And I also believe it's the mental approach. Making sure. Look, during this camp, he sparred with Gervonta Davis, with Adrian Broner. So, I've had them at our camp and I put him in and he was able to understand what that's like. And that's, there's levels to this. And so, those guys obviously work with him, but they put their foot on the pedal. And when they put their foot on the pedal, that's when you know how certain guys react. And that's what I want to see at this point.
Aaron's also got a unique nickname, which is probably the best marketing tool I've ever heard of, the Alien King.
Right.
One, I don't know how he came about that. He didn't explain it to me, but it's for a boxer to be called the Alien King when you step back and you go, what? Why? Can you just explain to me how he came about that name?
Sure. So when he was born, and his mom held him in her arms, his fingers were so long they looked like alien fingers. So they basically said I just gave birth to an alien. And then as he went on, they just called him Alien and Aaron the Alien. And when he started fighting, he went Alien King. And it's just fun. Nothing more to it. But it's unique. If anything, people go, why are you the alien? Like, where did that?
Attracts people to Aaron.
Right, because it's off the beaten path. Yeah. But it's authentic. I mean, when he came out, he looked like an alien.
Well, I'm glad you said. I wouldn't say that to his face, but I'm glad you said that. Now, the reason, probably is the main reason why I wanted to speak to you is because yesterday there was purse bids for Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos. He's your fighter. He had a great fight against Lee Selby. I will get you to talk on that fight a little bit as well. But the purse bids yesterday, it came out of nowhere for Triller to offer 6.1 something million. You can say it.
$6,018,000.
There you go. Then 6.18 there. So again, talk to me about that purse bid. Talk to me about George's chances against Teofimo Lopez. And were you surprised that you actually did beat Matchroom and Top Rank? Well, Triller actually beat Matchroom and Top Rank in this purse bid.
So first and foremost, it was a fantastic day. I think it was a great day for boxing. I've read everything that's come out. I took a step back, read all the reaction. Obviously, Top Rank was a bit disappointed, a bit aggressive in their response to the whole thing. Eddie Hearn was actually very positive. I mean, he congratulated me, even though Matchroom bid. He congratulated me and really, told me last night he thought it was fantastic because what it does is it shows that there are other players that can come in and disrupt the category and can use a different model. We don't always have to abide by this same paradigm that we've been abiding by for 100 years. Triller doesn't look to be a traditional boxing promoter. They rely heavily on the influencers, which bring them huge numbers and a younger audience. And then you have the legends, like they had with Tyson and Jones, and they're going to do more of that. Now you bring in the real boxing. So you have those three buckets in which you can attract fans from all over. And then you have the fun commentating with Snoop Dogg, and you have performances, whether it's rappers or bands, different type of music artists. You're really creating an event that can attract a wide demographic, and at the same time, no one's getting bored. Look, let's just be real. You come to a boxing event these days, and the undercard could be horrible.
Hardly any fans in the arena as well with undercard. Yeah.
So or even you tune in, you got to watch 2 hours of terrible fights, right? Which we in boxing have to recognize, and I think that goes back to what I was saying about making more competitive fights early on. But now you get to watch a Jake Paul who brings tens of millions of followers. You get to watch 2 legends, former world champions in an exhibition, and then you get to watch real contemporary competitive high level. Does it get any bigger than the undisputed lightweight championship of the world?
Not right now. Maybe the Fury Joshua, maybe in a Canelo fight, but this, yes, I would say it doesn't get much bigger than that.
Right. What I'm saying is for that division, right? I mean, it's a one. And let me say something. I love George. I've been with George for a long time. We have a great relationship. He's done it the hard way. And that is one of the reasons why Teofimo was adamant on sticking to fighting this fight, because he respects the fact that George did it the way he did. He earned it. He won. George fought Mickey Bay in New York, former world champion. George is from Australia. If you look at his record, he hasn't fought in Australia in almost 5 years. Went to New York, fought Mickey Bay. Went to London and fought Lee Selby. Lee Selby fight. Look, we knew that Lee Selby, former world champion, excellent fighter, a lot of talent. We knew that, but we also knew that it was George's time. And I was there for that fight. I was actually in the corner for that fight for George, and I absolutely scored it 9 rounds to 3. I could accept 8 to 4. I know Lee wasn't happy, with the result, but I thoroughly believe that George, watching it over and over again, it was an excellent boxing match by George. So he earned his slot, and of course, we weren't made an offer by Top Rank for the Teofimo Lopez fight. So you can't accept an offer that was never made. They never made an offer to our promoter, DeBella Entertainment. They never made an offer to us. So there was nothing to turn down. So the only option was to go to purse bid. And so from what I understand, I read a story by Mike Coppinger this morning in The Athletic, and it seems that there was a lot of other things that were going on behind the scenes that were questionable, to be kind, that Top Rank was trying to...
Like what?
Top Rank trying to get DAZN not to bid. So, when you're the only bidder, you can, lowball the price, and fate would have it that Triller saw this as a valuable fight. And so when you look at Triller's model, paying $6,018,000 for this fight, in which 65% goes to Teofimo, 35% goes to George.
Both get paid well.
Oh, they get paid very well. Okay, so everyone's happy there, but at the same time, Triller's getting a great fight at a great price because they're not relying on that exclusively to drive the pay-per-view. Remember, this pay-per-view is going to have influencers, it's going to have legends, entertainment, and boxing. So this is just one component of that card that's going to bring in, millions of viewers from young demographic to an older demographic. And, sometimes you have to disrupt the space in order to create something new. Eddie did it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The DAZN sort of used that model at the beginning as well, didn't they? The influencers, the YouTubers and stuff like that. So it's been done before and it's been proven it works.
Well, let's just do the math.
Yeah.
Who thought it wasn't crazy that the DAZN was paying Canelo $30 million a fight? Was it 30 or 35?
35, yes. Yeah,
$35 million a fight at the time when a subscription was $5 a month. Now it's $100 a year. How many subscribers would you need to be able to just break even on Canelo fighting 2 to 3 times a year? And it was an 11-fight deal initially, I believe. So my point is that sometimes, you have a loss leader or you have something that you need to make some noise and you need to get people in to be able to sample the product. And so with Triller, this is just their second event. Meaning, I shouldn't say that, it'll probably be their third event. The first event was Tyson Jones. The second event is going to be Jake Paul and Ben Askren, and there's going to be another big boxing match on that show too, from what I understand. I'm not at liberty to say yet, but people will be like, oh, okay.
Any hints?
I can't tell you. But, well, let's just say that it's going to raise some eyebrows and people are going to say, okay, these guys are really trying to attract the core boxing audience. And then, introducing these 2 different audiences together, they're not signing fighters to promotional deals. So imagine that, they have a fighter, whether they win it by purse bid or the free agent, or even if they go to a promoter and say, you know what, we'd like to put this guy on our card, would you want to do that? Why wouldn't the promoter do that? If it works out and it makes sense, because all they're going to do is raise the profile of that fighter and then hand them back to their promoter, where the promoter can go, this is great. When they came to you, they had 36,000 social media followers. Now they have 500,000 social media followers. You know what I mean? Which is going to now help talk to those people for their next fight, which is only going to help the other platform and their promoter.
Do you think that Triller made that such a huge bid? Because I think it was it was over 2 million more than what Top Rank and Eddie Hearn put in the bid for. So it was a very, very high number. Do you think that Triller put in that number because they really wanted to fight? Because they did, like you said, the show that they did put on was Legends. It was Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. and it did have like Jake Paul, the YouTubers. Never really had any elite level boxing. So you think after that show, Triller thought to themselves, you know what? Now it's time to break in and get the elite fighters, get the professional, real deal fighters, a real competitive fight, world title fights, junior world title fights. We need this now on our cards. We've done the YouTubers, we've had the legends, now it's time. And that's the reason why they put in that $6 million bid. Because like I said, I think Top Rank was 2 million something and Eddie Hearn was 3 something million. So again, it was a high bid. And do you think that was the reason why they did that, to get well, obviously the hardcore boxing fans involved as well? Well,
they made a lot of noise. Mm-hmm. Everybody's talking about Triller yesterday and today. And I think it's reinforced to the market and to the fans and to boxing that they're serious. At the same time, I think that if you look at the landscape of what was available, there aren't too many big names right now out there that were in a situation that would allow them to bid. They can't bid for Fury Joshua or Joshua Fury, however you want to. Well, either way, but you know what I'm saying. You can't bid for that. You can't bid for Ramirez Taylor. You can't bid. I mean, this was a perfect storm, a perfect opportunity for them to take advantage of an opportunity. Now look, this opportunity could have simply not existed if Top Rank would have made an offer that everyone would have been happy with. Then there would have been no purse bid. But when you fight and you earn the right by fighting an eliminator to become the mandatory, as George did, then you put yourself in a position to be able to have that fail-safe as an option and not be cornered into just accepting short money. So I think Triller recognized that they had an opportunity. I mean, they're bringing the undisputed lightweight champion. Let's just be real. Sports Illustrated Fighter of the Year, Boxing Writers Association of America, Ring Fighter of the Year. I mean, what else is there? I mean, he's won everything. And honestly, fighter, trainer of the year. I mean, they're getting, and he's a very marketable fighter. He's not someone that is quiet. He knows how to sell. He knows how to promote. And same with George. These guys aren't shy. These guys are going to sell. They're going to promote. They're young. They have the right look. The audience at Triller will connect. They're going to end up utilizing, remember, at the core, Triller's a social media platform. And so they're going to utilize that platform to create shoulder programming, to create content around these guys. They're going to build their base that are going to be really vested in wanting to see these two guys fight. And like I said, it's just one component. So Triller's not relying on 100% boxing pay-per-view to support the income on that fight. Yeah. That is part of a budget of a much bigger show that's going to bring in other fans from other genres. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that fight will get absorbed. So if you really look at it, they didn't overbid. They create their value. Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn don't create the value. They created their own value based on their paradigm. They don't have the same paradigm as Top Rank and as Matchroom. They're not traditional boxing promoters.
What we'll say on that is the hardcore boxing fans, especially on social media, are very, very vocal and they're passionate about the sport, and they don't like, I don't know if they don't like is the right word, but they think it's disrespectful that we do have the YouTubers on, like making a mockery of the sport, like Jake Paul versus Robinson. The basketball player, Nate Robinson, sorry, forgive me. Yeah, Nate Robinson, they find it very disrespectful because you've got young fighters coming through that are working up through the small hall shows and stuff like that. So when you've got the unified or the undisputed lightweight world champion and people are saying that he's going to fight on the undercard of Jake Paul. Is that going to happen?
It's not going to happen, and I think that's what's wrong with social media, right? Somebody says something, somebody runs with it, and it's not true. Number one, they're not going to fight on the same card. Number two, they're going to be the main event, or there'll be a co-feature, but they're going to fight last, and it's going to be treated and given the respect for the fight that it is. But here's the thing: I'm a boxing guy, I'm a fight guy, 25 years in this business, and for the business to survive, it has to go out. You have to draw outside the lines a little bit. You've got to find new ways, because the way that boxing was, 70 years ago in the United States, the three most popular sports were baseball, horse racing, and boxing.
Horse racing, really?
Yeah, really. It's just not true anymore. We're competing with the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. It might be
Ice hockey, maybe, yeah.
Even the NHL, Major League Soccer. We're competing with UFC's taking big market share. Okay, maybe in the UK it's a little different, right? Obviously the Premier League is number one, and then boxing is higher on the food chain, right? But it's higher on the food chain. In the United States, let's just be real. Now, when you go to a website and they list the sports, they have a tab that says Other. You got to click on Other, and you got to go about 10 sports down to find boxing. So the hardcore boxing fans, and take it from a manager who's been in this for 25 years, who's worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of fighters, who's worked with every major promoter, who understands the inner workings of this and the financials of this, okay? My fighter, Aaron Aponte, signed his disclosure form today, where Matchroom, but for the Muhammad Ali Reform Act, has to show him how much money they're getting, which I'm not going to disclose, but they have to do that. And, for them to survive, they've got to find new ways to bring in revenue. And so what does it matter where this fight takes place? What core boxing fans should be happy about is that someone sees it valuable enough to invest enough money and put it on a big platform where we could bring young new fans that might go, I didn't know what a Teofimo or a Kambosos was, but now I love this. I want to watch more boxing. Yeah, I'm always going to like these YouTube guys because that's how I came here. But you know what? I'm going to go watch this guy the next time because they develop a connection. They develop they become a fan. Mm-hmm. So what's wrong with that? It's not in place of, we're not making them fight outside of the scope of what they fight. They're still going to fight for the world titles. That doesn't change. Doesn't matter whether it's on ESPN or DAZN or Showtime or Fox or Triller. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that fans are going to be entertained. They're going to have the ability to watch the boxing. There's going to be a good boxing undercard. Yeah. There'll be three solid competitive fights with fighters that they know, and then they're going to get that. But they're also going to get. You don't want to watch the YouTubers? Don't watch them. You don't want to watch two legends fight an exhibition? Don't watch them. You don't want to watch an artist perform? Don't watch them. But we're giving so much more value than just a stinky undercard, along with and a main event. And then the main event's not guaranteed to be good. Right? So then imagine you just invest 4 hours of your life to watch a one-sided undercard and a main event. Okay? In this case, you're going to get, I'm telling you, George is coming. I know George. He's going to be an underdog, so be it. Teofimo was an underdog, 3-1, almost 4-1 underdog to Lomachenko, and he did what he had to do. George is coming to fight. I could guarantee you he's going to leave it all in the ring, and he's going to surprise people. Okay? He didn't get to 19-0. And if you look at his record, look at the amount of undefeated people on his record, look at the former world champions on his record. Teofimo respects it. I've known Teofimo since he's a kid. Okay? I know his family, and I know his code. He's a true boxing. He's a throwback, and he respects George's path. And so it's gonna happen. And you know what? And Triller made it happen.
Yep.
And for Bob Arum to go out on the media and say that they could buy his contract.
I'm glad. Thank you, Pete. I'm glad. That was going to be my next question. I'm glad you're going to talk about that.
I mean, I don't know why Bob's saying these things. Mm-hmm. I can't understand it. I can't understand why he's upset that Eddie bid and said next time I'm going to stick it up your ass. I mean, and then Eddie telling him to fuck off. Like I don't know why it's gotten to this. It just doesn't make sense to me. If you find him to be so valuable, meaning Teofimo, then offer him, what he's find a happy medium. That was never found. It was a one-way street, from what I understand. Okay, and I'm not on their side, so I don't care. That's them. My guy's George Kambosos Jr. My job is to make sure. Here's the one thing that we knew going in. Okay, we're the mandatory. one way or another, he was fighting for the IBF lightweight world title. If Teofimo vacated, we'd fight Isak Cruz, no problem. If Teofimo wants to fight, we fight Teofimo, no problem. We were fighting, no matter what. It was just a matter of where that was going to be, who was going to be promoting it, and how much money we were going to make. It wasn't an if, it was just a how much, where, and when. And so to hear all this just makes me think it's like somebody lashing out, frustrated, to say, well, hey, we made $800,000 in 5 minutes. Well, congratulations. Good for you. But is that your model? Is that now the business model? I mean, is that something to celebrate? You were the lowest bidder out of 3 bids, and it was your fighter. So look, Top Rank, they've done so many great things in the sport for over 50 years. I have many fighters with them, but I had a fiduciary duty in this case to look after George Kambosos Jr., who's not with them, and that's his business. Top Rank's still a great promotional company. Bob's a legend. Eddie, arguably the best promoter in boxing today, with a great platform behind him in DAZN and Sky in the UK. I mean, there's so many positives and attributes. We've all gone through a really difficult time with COVID. Boxing's done the best it can to survive without gate revenue. You have to be sensitive to that. No ticket sales, but yet fighters want to get paid the same amount of money. So I understand that. But this is the new norm, and we have to adapt. And if a new player wants to come in and disrupt, and if they want to make a statement, hey, more power to them.
Well, Peter, I've had you for nearly half an hour, so I do appreciate your time, but I will say this. Are you giving Eddie a run for his money with the best dressed guy in this hotel?
It's hard with Eddie because he always has, he always seems to just do a little bit more, right? But I appreciate the compliment. I will say this, he came up to me today, he says, since I've known you, he says, for 48 hours now, or 24 hours, you've been walking around with a smile on your face. So
I think we know why.
Yeah, so, but thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully we do it again soon.
Definitely, 100%. Peter, thank you so much for doing this for FLTV. I enjoyed the interview. It's the first time. Hopefully it's the first of many.
Absolutely.
And good luck to George against Teofimo Lopez, and good luck to Arum on Saturday night. So thanks again.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.